What is up, you guys? How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? I'm gonna give it a couple minutes. Well, maybe not a couple minutes, but a little bit for people to join up. But Monday night charting session, same thing as usual. We're gonna be going through the watch list A to Z, seeing what type of setups we have for tomorrow, seeing what type of setups we have for the rest of the week, and at the end of the stream, or towards the end of the stream, we're gonna go ahead and create my watch list for tomorrow. If we have time afterwards, we will do a short Q&A as well. If you guys have any questions that you would like me to answer regarding anything trading wise. So we'll go ahead and get right into it here. But first off, I do want to go over the calendar for tomorrow real quick. What's up, Levon? So calendar for tomorrow, we are looking at consumer confidence at 10 a.m. So 30 minutes into market open, we do have news that is typically something that I am cautious of. Consumer confidence is typically one that gives us a reaction in the market. So if we do see a little bit of sideways or slow price action up until 10 a.m., I would not be super surprised. But yeah, 10 a.m., that's really the only news we have tomorrow that I'm going to be super cautious of. And then earnings for tomorrow specifically, we pretty much have nothing that's on my watch list, which I'm cool with. We do have AMC earnings tomorrow. I haven't looked at AMC in so long, so we'll go ahead and check that out tonight, actually, just to see if there is any possible opportunities, but that wouldn't be able to go into effect until Wednesday. So only earnings that we have this week as far as stuff on my watch list goes is NVIDIA, CRM, Snow, and I think that is all. I will say Snow is one that I haven't touched in quite a long time, but NVIDIA and CRM have earnings this week, Wednesday after close, so those are pretty much going to be not tradable until Thursday. But yeah, earnings, as far as my watch list goes, is pretty empty for tomorrow. News, we have consumer confidence, and we will go ahead and get this started up here at Apple. So Apple, I actually don't mind this ascending triangle we've got going on here. We've got a flat top at high of day from today at 248.86, and obviously, I mean, it's not drawn out right now, but you guys can see right here, we draw this little uptrend, got a ascending triangle forming right there, which is supposed to be a bullish breakout pattern. So I do like this. I'd be looking at 248.86 for my entry, targeting at least a breakthrough 249. On this, we really have room up to 250 at the very least here. I want to see if we've got anything between here and 250. So we really don't have anything between here and 250. Let's see. We do kind of have a gap here, but nothing that would be any different from my initial plan. So 250 on this would probably be my absolute max target. The trends are all giving us room up to like 250.76, 250.92. So the trends are giving us plenty of room, 250.95. I do like this setup, actually. I like this a lot. And yeah, that's definitely something that's going to go on the watch list. Last night we did talk about this in the lesson in the Discord. We were talking about the possibility of seeing some type of relief rally today after selling off so much on Friday, and that's pretty much what we got. Well, I guess that's what we got across some of the stocks. We didn't get it across the whole market, but as far as the recovery goes, we're looking to start coming back up to these highs here on Apple. So AMD is actually the exact opposite here. I'm personally not interested on AMD until we get down to 106.47. For those of you guys that are big fans of playing AMD, I personally just don't have anything in this area up until we get to that low. Like even the after hours setups are not anything crazy. Like we just have one low, not having multiple tests or anything like that. But I do like 106.47 to the downside. It is just a bit far right now, about $2 away. Amazon had another crazy day of selling off here, all the way down to 212. I'm gonna actually look at this on the larger time frames real quick. Nothing crazy here. Yes, I am. I post all of the lives after they're done for you guys to go back and watch through. Honestly, Amazon down here at 212 does not look bad. We got to bounce off of 212 perfectly here. It looks like we have another bounce off of it right here. Let's see. Yep. Made another perfect low at 212. I do like that. I'm usually not a huge fan of Amazon, but that is pretty nice. And that's really just an after hours setup, but it's an after hours setup at a key level. But yeah, Amazon looks good. Definitely going to mark that. Oh, what's up, Ramsey? Yeah, if you want to hang out and listen in, feel free. But yeah, you can watch it back afterwards. ARM. Not a huge fan of ARM here. I really just don't like that one hour channel. Why don't you trade Apple? Justin, I do. I just don't trade it very often. It's not very often that it gives us a good enough setup that I am actually like anticipating a large move from the break. That makes sense. AVGO 206.23. So this is an after hours level. I'm fairly confident we actually have a gap on the. Oh wait, I'm sorry. That gap started and filled here today. Afterwards, I mean, way down here at 196, we've got a gap again, but 206.23 is an after hours level from the 2nd. So that actually looks pretty solid. AVGO has been extremely weak here. So I do like this at that level. And on this, I actually might just take it at the after hours low. Obviously, we'll have to see where it sets up pre-market, but as far as writing my plan out tonight goes, I'll probably just write my entry as the after hours low, because that is most likely what I'm going to be taking on this. VA just going back and forth, staying in this range that it's been in for what feels like ever. Baidu, wow. Baidu actually has a really nice looking flat bottom here at 86.68. This is an interesting one though, because I'm looking at the contract volume from today and there's really no contract volume on this. So I do like that level, but the volume is just not there. What's up, Sean? Yeah, 86.68 looks solid on that, but I really can't justify putting it in the watch list because I'm looking at this. the contracts that had, well, the first contracts that had over 1,000 volume were the 85 puts, and they are 90 cents on the ask, 78 cents on the bid. So crazy spread, barely over 1,000 volume. And the next ones that have over 1,000 volume are the 80 puts, and they're 12 cents a piece. So I really can't do anything with that. But for those of you guys that are trading with smaller accounts, and for those of you that are comfortable with taking stocks that have lower volume, which I wouldn't necessarily recommend, I just know that that is some people's style that they like to go with. This 86.68 level does look really solid, but that's not going on the watch list, unfortunately. Coin. So Coin has a 1 year, 1 day gap that started at 221.11. We broke this after hours. So continuing this gap would just be the after hours low on the 1 year, 1 day. And looking at this on the 4 hour, we have a 4 hour gap that starts here at 213.74. So this actually does look good. It's just pretty far away, and I don't really want to trade it in between these two levels here. So I think I'm probably going to skip out on Coin as well. I do like that 213.74 setup a lot, though. So I am going to leave Coin marked, but it's most likely not going to go on the watch list. Costco, I can pretty much always skip over at this point. CRM has earnings. Crowd. Let's see. Wow. Wait, does Crowd have earnings this week too, or are these contracts just juiced? Give me just a second. All right. Okay, these contracts are just juiced up. The 380 puts on this have a decent amount of volume, to be honest. And 380 would be the level that I would be looking at on this. That actually looks super solid. If we come down to this and we have volume on the contracts, I'm definitely interested in that. I would probably take it at today's low, to be honest with you guys. That would buy us a little bit of time between our entry and the main level. So if we do get a bounce at the main level, we'll already have a pretty good average on our position. There's a couple different ways you could approach that. You could take partial position at that 382.34 low, add the rest at 380, or you could just plan in going a lighter position size overall, and just try and ride that through the whole move there. But that does look super solid. And honestly, depending on how these contracts move, if we get the entry at today's low, we can probably just look to sell on the 380 break, and it would be a good enough percentage anyways. I do like that. Only issue with this is we have a lot of room down, which having a lot of room is not an issue. Just as far as targets go, we don't have a ton of like super clear targets here. So really probably the best target would just be a momentum break below 380. Cool. Crowd's definitely going on the watch. It might be a side watch just because it is $9 away, but this thing dropped off today. It had like a opened at 406, got all the way down to 384. Yeah, this thing had a huge sell off today. Obviously it recovered some of that, but how do you choose your targets when there's no level nearby? Just psychological levels? Levon, it's a mixture of psychological levels. If there's no trends, then it makes it a little bit more difficult. So like this would be a perfect example of there being no trends that are super close, no psychological levels that are super close either. And if we get the entry at today's low, that already gives us a $2.34 move before we even get to our main level there. So if we get a nice break through that 380 level and we have some nice momentum that's pushing us below, then that would be enough of a move for me to feel comfortable with taking profits on that. So in situations like that, I'm really going to be basing my target off of momentum and kind of just how contracts are moving. So like obviously when we get our entry, we're going to see how contracts are moving right away. And then that'll be able to give us a nice judgment of, is the 380 break going to be enough to make it worthwhile? Obviously before we're entering, we're going to be looking at the contracts as well, seeing how they're moving then. But yeah, usually it's based off of momentum. If there's no key levels or no trends to base it off of, then it's got to be down to momentum and price action overall. DAL, I'm all good. DDOG, falling off a cliff, but I am also all good on that. No problem. Disney, actually like Disney here. 111.76. What's a high on this right here? High is 111.70. Oh, we have a perfect flat top at 111.76. That looks nice. Only thing with this is we really only have room to this 30-minute trend at 112.10. So, I mean, that's an all right move, but not super, super worth it yet. And the 1 hour is only giving us room to 112. I feel like I'm going to throw this on the watch list. I'm going to throw it as a side watch, though. And then in the morning, we can check up and see where these trends are at. See if this is giving us any more room here. Because the setup itself is nice. I like the setup itself. Just the trends that are lining up there are not giving us enough room to necessarily make it worthwhile on a Tuesday. Like on a Friday, a 25-cent, 30-cent move is going to be more than enough. Especially on Disney, but on a Tuesday, might not be worth it. I'm sorry, Google starting a gap here to the downside or continuing a gap here to the downside, but personally, there's just no levels here that I'm super interested in playing, so I'm gonna move on from that. IBM, I might take that back off my watch list. I only added that on there because of setup it had after earnings. There's really been nothing on it, for me at least, since then. Meta at 660. I like a lot. I might look to take this once again at this low of day, 662.45, down through that 660 break. Meta's been providing some solid price action here recently, and I do like that a lot. Yeah, I'm probably gonna look to take today's low at 660. Wow, sorry, 662.45 through the 660 break. After that, what do we have? No gaps. Cool. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, I do like this on Meta for sure. It's definitely going to be up there in the main watches, might even be the top watch. We actually look like we have a decent amount of setups right now. So And I know for a fact we have Tesla because I was looking at it earlier. So we might actually be, if we don't find anything else between here and Tesla, I think we're going to be pretty set anyways. I know I skipped over NVIDIA, but that's because they have earnings Wednesday after close. So really not much I can do with it until then. PLTR filling this 1 year gap. Absolutely insane sell off once again today. I would have loved to catch that, but it literally broke my 95.80 level I was looking at within a millisecond after open today, and we ended up bouncing from that. Personally, I want to say I was in Meta around the time that it came back down, so there's just it was not worth it for me to bail out on a solid trade and try and jump in something else. But PLTR has been extremely weak. I really don't think there's anything here worth me looking at. I do think that we're going to continue seeing this move down as long as the market is staying weak, or as long as PLTR is staying weak compared to the market. But personally, there's just no setups there that are solid enough for me to value this over anything else. But I will say, for those of you guys that like trading PLTR, this thing has been insanely weak. And we really do have room down to that gap fill on the 1 year. So do with that information as you please. But personally, I'm not looking at anything on that. PayPal, I'm all good. Roblox, I'm super all good. Same with Reddit, Roku, Shop. Shop, we actually look like we could be coming back up for a pretty crazy recovery here, except Shop is not one of those that I'm looking at on a consistent basis. It's also not one that I can necessarily rely on volume from. Like these 120 calls have almost 12,000 in volume from today, and they are 90 cents a piece. So I really don't want to play that far out of the money on Shop. I don't want to play that cheap of contracts. And this volume on this stock as a whole is not good enough for me to value this over anything else that I have. But this does look like it's setting up for a pretty crazy bounce at the very least. SMCI, we have a flat bottom from today, but I'm all right on that. I think we have higher quality setups than that. Snow, I said we would take a look at because it does have earnings coming up. AMC, I actually said we were going to look at as well. So we'll look at this real quick and just, oh my. This tells you how long it's been since I've looked at AMC. I did not know this thing was at $3. That's insane. That is absolutely nuts. Wow. What a chart. I think that's really all I even have to say about that, is just what a chart. T-Mobile, I still like these resistances up here, 274.96, and obviously the high at 279.49, but not something I'm going to be focused on for tomorrow. Tesla, 320.07 obviously is going to be a huge level for Tesla. We're lining up with a psychological level here. We're coming down, and on the larger time frames, basically forming a H pattern. Below this, we really have room down to like 310 for our next major support here. 309.22. I will say though, I'm probably going to be looking to take today's low once again at 324.70. It looks like pretty much all these downside setups we've got, I'm really liking the low of day for entry. So Don't be surprised if all of these plans on the watch list look fairly similar, because they are pretty similar setups all around. But yeah, I think this is solid. Obviously, Tesla's one of my favorite stocks to play, so Tesla's going to be usually the headliner of the watch list. But I will say, I think Meta actually has a better setup than Tesla does. I like trading Tesla better, but Meta is way closer to these levels here, where we could very easily break 662.45, break straight through 660, versus a $4.70 move to get down to 320. Like, that's a pretty big move for Tesla. So not saying that it can't do it. Meta is just a bit closer. So I think Meta is still probably going to be my top watch between all of these. But we're going to go ahead and go through here. I'm going to go back and see if there's any of these setups that I could deal without at this point, because I know Apple is like one of our only upside plays here. So that's going to stay. Amazon, I actually do like this, but it's not near as big of a setup as these others, so we might be able to deal without that. AVGO looks super solid. Coin, I said I wasn't going to be looking at for tomorrow anyways. Crowd, I could probably deal without there, because this is really the same type of setup as everything else. Disney is going to stay because that's another upside. Okay. Yeah, all right, it's looking like the majority of these are going to stay. PLTR, I can unmark. I'm not looking at anything there. What's up, Dave? Netflix. Jonathan, I banned Netflix from my watch list a couple weeks ago, but I'll look at it for you. Yeah, there's nothing here that I'm interested in. I hate playing downside on Netflix. The only stock that I've ever had a directional bias against, and I refuse to play this to the downside personally. If you do trade Netflix often and you can deal with the ridiculously low volume and ridiculously wide spread on the contracts, then it doesn't look horrible for a quick scalp off open, possibly, but I am all good. Yeah, pretty much, Levon. Cool. All right, we're gonna go ahead and go through, start writing out the watch list here. If there's anything that you guys want me to check out, feel free to just send it in the chat. Let me know what level you're looking at as well, so I'm not just like pulling up a random stock and looking at nothing. But if there is anything you want me to go over, feel free to throw it in there. 886 sending. Room on this up to the 58. What was the first trend we had there? 250.81. Actually, cool. Yeah, I like setups like this where we can just have a super clear and concise plan. Know exactly where our targets are going to be. We have trends lining up as well. Yeah, Dave, this is the best I've felt in the last like 2 weeks, to be honest with you. I'm just hoping that by the time I go to sleep and wake up, it's not like all completely gone, you know, like all the progress being completely gone. We'll go ahead and start the side watch here. Amazon looking at the 212 after Levon, type in the Discord whatever you're trying to type on here. I'm not sure what you're typing, but clearly YouTube does not like it. All right, moving on. AVGO. Right. Levon, I have no idea what that is. Never heard of that. Are there going to be lessons with specific? Yeah. We're starting to structure the lessons a lot more as far as specific topics go, because we have noticed you guys overall, I feel like, are not having as many questions as you did in the beginning, and I have a feeling you're going to pick up some questions again as we start doing it this way. But I think you guys need some kind of a direction to even figure out what you have questions about, right? Because I'm confident that even though you guys are doing really well and everybody is seems to have a very good head on their shoulders with pretty much everything, and honestly, especially the risk management, I've never seen better risk management from a large group of individuals as a whole. But yeah, you guys all have a great head on your shoulders, but I'm sure that there's something from everyone that they're still not super confident with, but need a little push in the right direction before you can start forming those questions again. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So yes, we are structuring the lessons uh, with a more specific curriculum rather than just leaving it up to you guys to form your own questions to lead the lessons, because it is very difficult to do those lessons and have something to go over if nobody has any questions at all. So Let's see. Crowd. I'm probably going to skip on crowd here. It may come back up in the pre-market depending on how close we are, but I think I'm going to skip on crowd. You think you're going to record them in the future? I can't make any due to work. I don't exactly know. Default answer, I'm going to go ahead and say probably not. But there's always a possibility. So I can't say never. But yeah, there would need to be a very, very structured way of doing that to not basically ruin it all for everyone. Because then it would probably get to the point where nobody would show up at all because they know they could just watch it later, right? Disney, looking at the 111 76 flat top. Weird breaking out of a 15-minute downtrend into these highs. So I would be looking to take a flat top, targeting a break to of 112. After that, we have we have room to the, what is this, 1 hour or 30-minute? Does anybody remember? 1 hour and 30-minute. All right. $112.11. Perfect. Perfect. Levon, I'll have to think about that one, man. I'm doing good, but when I'm sorry. I've been doing good, but I feel like my main problem is sizing when I go heavy, or sorry, when to go heavy and when to go light. I always feel like I'm going too light. Yeah, so position sizing and risk management is something that we're actually going to go over very, very soon here. I know we've went over it before, but we're going to go over it again. And a lot of the times, I mean, I don't know exactly what account sizing you're working with, which I definitely am not going to ask you to out that over a YouTube live. But typically, the smaller the account is, the more difficult it is to have a super easy way of using your sizing to your advantage. Just because a lot of the times with super small accounts or just small accounts in general, the safest move 99% of the time is to go as light as possible, just because you're buying yourself more opportunity there. So also, if you're going as light as possible, that typically means one contract. And if you're sizing up from one contract, you're going to be sizing up to 2 contracts, which sizing up from 1 to 2 contracts, it might not sound like that much, but you're doubling your position size. So like, if I were to size up from my size and double my position size, it would be a huge difference, right? Versus if I add another 1 to 2 contracts, I'm only adding another maybe 10, maybe 5%, maybe 20% of my position size, right? So the larger the account is and the more contracts that you're playing with the majority of the time, it's a little bit easier to slowly work your way up from there. But even with the sizing jump, If you've been trading with one contract, adding another contract to that is literally doubling your position size. So I understand why you would be hesitant to do that, because if somebody said, like, you know, if I was sizing up on something, but I could only size up by doubling my position size, I probably would not do it, right? Let's see. Meta is next. Sorry. 2 seconds here. All right. And then last thing here would be Tesla, 324.70. 324.70 support. Down to wow. We really don't have any trends that are even affecting this. And it's difficult to write out trade ideas like that, because I almost feel like it would be better to write them as two separate ideas. Go ahead and make this like a actually, you know what? We're going to be optimistic here and just write this trade idea out as if. There we go. We're going to use optimism here. And then obviously we're going to execute according to the actual momentum and price action we're seeing when market opens. But I really don't know a better way to write this out. Because really, I mean, if you look at it, we really don't have anything between 324.70 and 320.07. It's just a big move to ask for, would be the only hesitance I have there. So I'm assuming I'm just gonna guess that between now and pre-market, like when market's about to open, if we have not bounced, we are probably going to break below this 324.70 level anyways, and we're going to be closer to 320 than we currently are. So that is my like crystal ball guess of what would happen here. But otherwise, I really don't know a better way of writing that out, because it could be one play. It also could be two plays. We're just going to have to judge that off of the momentum and price action we're seeing after market opens. And I'm sure that you guys clearly would recognize the major support level here at 320.07, which is a huge psychological level as well. Like, I'm sure you guys are going to recognize that and be like, okay, if this gets down here, he's probably going to be playing this. So, yeah, that is how I'm going to leave Tesla for now. But that is my watch list for tomorrow. If you guys are not in the floor, make sure that you take a screenshot of this watch list while it's still up on the screen. Save it. Get these levels plotted out on your charts. If you are in the floor, I'm going to be sending this into the stock chat and the lessons chat. And yeah. Also, if you guys are not in the floor and you want to trade live with us on a daily basis, make sure you click the first link in my bio right there, and I will see you in there. Actually, if anybody joins from this live, whenever you join, I need you in all caps to say, I just joined from the live. And everybody's going to tell you hi. But all right, cool. I appreciate you guys sticking around. I guess we do have about 12 minutes here, so if anybody has any questions, I'll give you guys a couple minutes to ask those. See, there you go. Everybody tell Arco hi. Levon and Arco, I admire your efforts, but I was talking about in the Discord. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, I'll stick around for a minute here, but if not, okay, there we go. There we go. The turtle soup strat? What is that? You know what? After that question, I'm canceling all all further Q&As just based off of that one question. All right, cool, Arco. Make sure you write that down somewhere though, so you don't forget it. I have no idea what that means. Levon, I mean, I feel like overall, just looking at that picture, seems like a pretty easy, like, stock photo to curate and throw somewhere, but I don't know how well you could implement that over a long period of time. I would have to look more into it than just at one screenshot for 10 seconds, but yeah, cool. I appreciate you guys coming out. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your night. Hopefully, I fully sound like a normal human being by tomorrow morning, and I will see you all for pre-market review. Peace, guys.